Hi, my name is Mike. I work in the best Russian media of cryptocurrency, rbk-Kripto. It's very nice to have conversation with you. We have several questions to talk about. So if you're ready, let's start.
Sure, I'm ready. Yeah, thanks for having me here.
We all remember the crypto boom of 2017. Can we accept the same at the end of this year, early 2021?
That's a really tough one. So it's very difficult to make predictions, but crypto do go in cycles. So I think they usually go in 3-year or 4-year cycles. So right now we're definitely seeing a lot more people than there were in the industry in 2000, even compared to the peak in 2017. So I think anything's possible, but I can't make that prediction very accurately. But from the data that we see more users than 2017, and we're seeing all-time highs in terms of users, trading volume, etc. So I think it's definitely possible.
It's possible in the end of this year or in next year when?
That's a tough one. So nobody knows. I honestly do not know either. So if I make a guess, you are very likely to be wrong.
Okay, next question is, DeFi is a breakout story of 2020 and we see many projects flooding the market. Is there still potential for the development of this segment?
Yeah, I think there's some core innovations in DeFi that will stay, liquidity pools, yield farming, etc. The excessive very high APY returns probably will not last that long. They just basically making new tokens to distribute as rewards, and eventually that's not a long-lasting model. So, but I do think DeFi will continue to stay, and also even as Bitcoin dominance is getting back, DeFi is still pretty popular. So yeah, and we think that there could be a lot of potential for growth in DeFi.
And DeFi will be grow?
Yes, absolutely. I think so. There may be some price corrections now or in the future. That's always possible. But overall, I think DeFi will stay. And Binance has actually invested very heavily in DeFi. We launched Binance Smart Chain. It's actually, we kind of led it, but then it's actually a community developed project. So we also pledged $100 million of Binance Smart Chain Accelerator Fund. So yeah, we fully believe that the future is decentralized and DeFi is going to stay.
But do you see DeFi is a bubble?
So yeah, that depends on how you define bubble. The price may correct, the price may drop, the price always fluctuate. So if you think about ICOs, many people would define ICOs in 2017 as a bubble. But if you look at 2017, even today, there's maybe there's many projects which are doing well today that started from 2017. Binance is one of them. So it depends on how you define bubble. I do believe there are many projects which are kind of already in a bubble in the DeFi space, but it doesn't. Even though I do think that is there's definitely certain elements of bubbles, but it does not mean that DeFi will completely evaporate afterwards.
And what is another similarity between DeFi and ICOs 2070s?
I think so. I think the workings are slightly different. ICO is really for blockchain fundraising, and DeFi is really for yield farming and generating yields using your crypto holdings. So I believe both of this have a future. I think eventually that they will all stay. Right now, I think ICO was overhyped in general for a while, and then it came down. But blockchain fundraising is still around, and still actually pretty popular. We still launch Binance IEOs, which are very popular events to our users, and I think the similar thing is going to happen in DeFi, where the price of many coins may drop and then it may correct, but afterwards, the real projects actually will continue to build. So yeah, markets always go like this, right? So whenever there's something new, everybody rushes in, and then it's not that DeFi creates a bubble itself. It's that everybody rushing in may create a bubble. The price may overshoot on the high side, and then later on there may be a correction and the price drops. But after a few iterations, we should see steady growth over time for the serious projects we'll continue to build.
DeFi, ICOs, and other markets need regulations. What can we expect from regulators by the end of 2020 and in 2021? What are the main changes that we should all both around the world and in Russia?
I'm not an expert in Russia. I think you are definitely much more expert than myself. It feels like, yeah. So I guess it's very tricky to predict how regulations will form. But regulating DeFi is actually inherently very difficult because it's just a smart contract that's deployed on a blockchain, and that's the entire project. And some projects, you know who the founders are, you know who the team are. Many projects founders choose to be anonymous. So we actually don't know who they are. So it's just some developer from anywhere, from the United States, China, Russia, India. They can just deploy a smart contract. And so it's going to be fairly difficult to regulate those type of projects.
Impossible, or just how could it possible?
I think it's nearly impossible. I mean, it's possible that people say, look, if you trade any cryptocurrencies, if you own any cryptocurrencies, you're going to be arrested, etc. But I believe we believe for countries who are doing that, they will put themselves at a significant disadvantage for technology innovation. So DeFi, DeFi blockchain cryptocurrencies is the next wave for fintech. There's a lot of really interesting innovations there. So if a country completely bans any touch or any ownership of cryptocurrencies, we think that's going to really hurt their own economy. So I don't think that's a good way to do it. I mean, it's possible to do it if you start arresting people here left and right for anybody who owns any crypto, then yeah, you can crush the market somewhat. But then again, that's probably just going to push all the crypto owners into further underground, and that's actually going to push higher adoption for privacy coins, which are harder to track, harder to prove. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's possible to regulate it to that extent, but I don't think it's good to do that. So we are trying to convince every regulator that's willing to talk to us to not go that route. We believe that there should be enough regulation to protect users, so to protect users from fraud, scams, etc. But we should encourage innovation in the fintech space.
Now Russian regulators try to regulate crypto market in Russia, and because it's really popular in Russia, in Ukraine, and in Belarus. What do you think? What is the reason for the high level of crypto adoption and demand in Russia, and Ukraine, Belarus, and like this?
To be honest, I think every region is a little bit different. Typically, we see that in countries where there's a high degree of understanding of technology and financial markets, there's usually a higher adoption. And in regions where there's a higher instability, so when in regions where the political environment is less stable, if the social environment is less stable, the fiat currencies have high inflation or high speed of devaluing. When those things happen, we see more adoption in cryptocurrency in general. So I think that there's a combination of factors that could impact Ukraine or Russia. But in general, I think we see high adoption from people from areas all around the world. It's not just Russia. So so I'm really hoping that the Russian, what I've learned is that there are a few proposed very strict on cryptocurrency ownership in Russia. I hope those proposals do not go through, but if they do, then I think it's not going to be very good for the economy.
And if talk about Belarus, the country has a highly developed IT sector. There are several local crypto exchange. From your point of view, what does the crypto market in Belarus look like, taking into account the current situation in the country?
Sure. So I'm actually not very familiar with Belarus. Binance have terminated our service, so we were not able to service Belarus from 2018. So we do respect regulations in each region, in each country. So users in Belarus are not able to access Binance or any of our services. So it's an unfortunate situation, but we have to respect the regulations. So I'm not an expert in this country, so I can't really tell. But I do know that there are a few local exchanges running there. So, but given the but I think the more you control, the more you try to control people from using crypto, the more underground they are. So I don't know the real situation there, but I would suspect that privacy coins and other strong privacy blockchain-enabled technologies are probably going to be very popular there.
Back to Russia, in law on digital financial asset has been adopted. The government has proposed amendments that will introduce a completely ban on any transactions with cryptocurrency. If they accept it, can we say that this will kill a crypto business in Russia? In this case, will Binance continue to function in the country?
So it depends, I think. I think most governments or most regulators may have a notion of once they issue a central bank digital currency, they want to block owning of any Bitcoin. But we have to see how the bans are implemented. But we will respect the regulations in each country. So it may affect the Binance.com, the centralized business. But what I think very likely will happen is right now on there's many DeFi exchanges which also allow users to trade, exchange cryptocurrencies. Most likely people are going to use those type of services more. Those services require less KYC, zero KYC, zero AML. So which actually are going to make the potential risks worse. So I think the more strict the regulations, the more underground people are going to move into. So today, I think it's quite difficult to ban Bitcoin completely because Bitcoin actually does not exist. So it's just a ledger that exists on the blockchain, and everybody has a copy of it. So Bitcoin itself does not exist anywhere. So when we say I have one Bitcoin, it's just that for my address, my total input and total output has a net value of 1 Bitcoin. So I think it's going to be very difficult to ban it completely. But we have to see what happens. We're hoping that this it will not be a complete blanket ban the way it's proposed right now.
We hope to. Roskomnadzor blacklisted the Binance website in Russia. Are you planning to do something about this decision? How will this affect the further work of the exchange in the Russian Federation?
Sure. I believe I believe the Binance.com website was listed on one of those lists, and I believe our team is preparing to appeal that decision. And so we're going through we're using lawyers going through the legal process to appeal that. We hope that we can be successful. So far, the Binance.com website has not been banned yet. So even though the name is already on the list, so we're hoping to reverse that process. So that's as much as we can do right now. And this is not something that we can control completely. We do want to work with multiple projects and multiple initiatives in the in Russia or servicing the Russia people to be able to sort of provide more services to Russian users. But if worst come to worst, we'll have no choice. But to be honest, I think a complete ban of a website is kind of pointless. People are just going to use DeFi, or people are going to find other ways to access different services, which actually make it harder for us to do KYC, AML. So we actually have less information about it. So I don't think that's the right approach. And so we are appealing that decision, and hopefully we're hoping to be successful.
Okay, let's talk about Binance Card. Binance is actively developing the Binance Card. What are your plans for launching the card in the Russian Federation? How are you planning to work with this in direction?
Yes, so we definitely do hope to be able to launch in every region in the world, including the Russian Federation. And I actually don't know who, I actually don't know, but even if I know, I cannot disclose which are the partners we're gonna work with. We typically announce this when the product's ready. So we do need to work with a traditional fiat currency partners, payments partners, or local banks, etc., to be able to turn on Binance Card in local regions. So there's a very strong compliance process involved. I do believe the team is working on multiple regions in the world right now, and so yeah, we do hope to be able to provide that soon, hopefully soon. But we have to see how things go for the next couple of months in Russia to see how the regulations shape out.
It means now Binance don't have local partners in Russia to Binance Card.
I don't believe we have one selected just yet. I believe we're engaging multiple ones that we're talking with. Yeah.
Okay. What new products are currently under development? Can you tell us which industry will be next after DeFi so we can invest in time?
Yeah, it's very difficult to predict which one's going to be the next boom after DeFi. To the point where if you ask me, like even 10 months ago at the beginning of this year, is what's gonna drive DeFi, I would not be able to tell you that stablecoin trading is going to be the popular thing. So we just launched a Binance Smart Chain, which is a 100% Ethereum compatible blockchain, and we're pushing that quite aggressively. So we launched a $100 million accelerator fund. And we're trying to get more people involved in the community and get the community more active in building different projects, different DeFi dApps on the Binance Smart Chain. So from our perspective, we don't try to predict the future, but when it happens, when a trend is already happening, we want to be able to contribute to that very quickly. So yeah, we have lots of different projects going on. But we'll have to see. So we'll have to see what comes after DeFi.
If we talk about cryptocurrency, is the current moment a good one for cryptocurrency purchase?
So yeah, it's very dangerous for me to offer any advice regarding when is the best time to invest. But it depends very heavily on what's your longer term horizon. If you invest, I don't know, a small amount of money and that's the money you want to double within the next 10 days to pay rent for next month, I would not encourage you to invest in DeFi, or I would not encourage you to invest in anything, to be honest, even stocks. So I think for investments, there are a lot of risks. Myself, I'm typically a very long-term investor. So I'm a very long-term driven. I think if you look at 5 years, 10 years as long-term, so let's say if you want to buy some, if you want to make some investment and then just hold it for 5 to 10 years, I think in that regard, not financial advice, but any time to purchase cryptocurrency is probably good. But there's also many different type of cryptocurrencies. So it does not mean every cryptocurrency is good. There's a lot of bad ones. There's only a few good ones. So I would highly recommend people to do their own research. And I think Bitcoin itself is going to be relatively safe if you look at a longer term horizon. But again, different people have different risk profiles. For me personally, I just think any time to buy Bitcoin is a good time, and any time to, and we're also very actively working on BNB. So we're hoping that the BNB community will continue to deliver value at a faster growth pace than Bitcoin even. So yeah. So short answers. It depends on everybody's situation, but longer term, I think cryptocurrency is going to have very strong adoption, and hence it should be a pretty good asset to hold.
Is it worth selling Bitcoin and BNB, and at what price will be target and logical decision? What do you think about this?
Yeah, so the way as I said, I mean, the way I look at it, I think right now, if we look at the entire cryptocurrency adoption, we probably have 0.1% adoption. So that means 1 in 1,000 people have some kind of crypto. Mm-hmm. So if we just want to cover the fiat market, we can probably grow 1,000%, or no, 1,000 times. So basically 100,000%. that's a huge room for growth. And also new industries market cap can be bigger than traditional ones. So for example, if we look at Uber, if we try to estimate the market cap for Uber, we should not use the taxi market because Uber can do a lot more that a taxi market cannot do. So for cryptocurrencies, you can do a lot more that fiat currencies currently do not support. So the potential market for fiat for cryptocurrencies actually should be much larger. So even 1000x should not be the limiting factor. So I think there's going to be many years of a potential room for growth. But again, don't take this as a guarantee or advice. So me personally, I actually don't really sell cryptocurrencies. So the only time I kind of sell cryptocurrencies is really when I use my Binance card for spending. If I have to pay for a meal, book a taxi, I use I just spend. So I spend, I don't know, $50, $30 each time. So that's the only time.
In which cryptocurrency?
So I usually spend BNB, which is of course my larger holdings. So from my perspective, I never sell BNB into fiat. So I never. So I think cryptocurrency is going to be the future. Bitcoin and BNB are going to be the future. So why do you sell? Fiat is probably going to be diminishing over time. So I guess that's a different mindset. Many people still think in fiat terms, and they have to sell cryptocurrency into fiat to have value, but that's already not the case anymore. You can. For me, I just hold BNB, and whenever I need to swipe my Binance card, use my credit card to pay for something, for me, it's just paying BNB. So I don't need to sell ever.
Two more questions about price of Bitcoin.
Those are tough ones.
Okay, Bitcoin growth after halving has not yet happened. Many say that growth could start a year later in the spring of 2021. What do you think about this? Will halving show itself or it's already history?
Again, I think anybody's opinion is probably better than mine. So I think if you look at history, most of Bitcoin's price did grow 1 year after halving, but there's only 2 data points before. So whether it's caused by the halving or not, nobody can prove. Just because it happens, just because there's correlation, does not mean there's causation. So it does not mean the halving caused it. But at the same time, even this year, from May to now, the Bitcoin price have increased quite a bit. I can't remember what was the Bitcoin price in May. I think it was around $6,000 US. So it's already more than doubled, if I remember correctly. So if to say that the growth have not happened, which is an understatement, I think. But again, is that caused by halving? Logic says most likely, but nobody knows. And will Bitcoin continue to grow? I think halving is just one factor, which is the reduced new supply for coming out. So the new supplies coming into the market is going to be much slower than the rate of new people coming into this market. And given everything else that's happening, the quantitative easing, the printing of money, COVID, the instability in the traditional financial markets, etc. So all of those things will push people into cryptocurrencies. So all of those are factors. So I'm like long term, I think Bitcoin is just a better form of money. So I'm still I'm obviously very bullish about it, but I'm not sure. I can't make a prediction whether it's going to happen this year or next year, or is it because of halving or not. Those things are very, very hard to predict.
And last question about price of Bitcoin. How high can the Bitcoin rate rise in principle? What is the goal? $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, or higher? Which one?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have a number in my head even. So I think basically, I typically don't think this way. So like, as I said before, we probably only have 0.1% adoption right now. So just being able to reach the current fiat currencies market cap, we can probably grow 1,000 times more. But as I said as well, even 1,000 times is probably not the upper limit. Whether it's going to happen or not, we don't know. I don't know. So it's possible that it will never happen. It's possible it will happen very soon. So I think we have to see. But I do believe that we are in a cryptocurrency is a very it is a much better form of money. It increases the freedom of money for billions of people around the world. I think this is going to be one of the fastest growth industries around for the next 10 to 20 years. I think also the crypto industry's market capitalization is probably going to be bigger than the internet. So I think there's a lot of room to grow. But how much is Bitcoin going to be worth? I'm not sure. And whether in 10 years, if there's a better cryptocurrency that's going to replace Bitcoin or not, I'm also not sure. So there's a lot of uncertainties. So I can't make a prediction. But one thing I am fairly certain about is that this industry has got very high potential. And that's why I'm spending all of my time in this industry, hoping to build tools that people will use. So yeah, I'm very bullish.